Right.
Welcome back, everybody. We are excited here. We've been having so much fun backstage that we're just going to continue it here. So we have Bess Cohn's hot dog demo. So at our ASI shows in person, every show in person, the ASI booth is packed with people getting mini hot dogs. That's a tradition that started long ago. We'll certainly get into that. I am joined by a cast of superstars. So let me introduce who I have. It's three from the Cohn family. So Norman Cohn. Norman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stephanie Cohn Schaeffer, thank you for joining us. Matthew, no negative comments. We also have Matthew Cohn, who's joining us, and
with
he
some
has
hot dogs, and they're yummy,
ready to go. So we also have Nate Kucsma. Now, Nate, what are you doing there?
He's eating.
You're eating. I caught you at the best moment, just as you put a hot dog in your mouth.
I have the actual ASI show mini hot dogs, which I picked up from the office, cooking in a skillet of butter, by the way.
Smart move.
And on a hot dog roller, which, yes, I actually own.
So we have Nate in his kitchen at home cooking mini hot dogs two ways, and these are the actual mini hot dogs, kosher mini hot dogs that we serve at all the ASI shows. So Norman, tell us how this tradition started.
Well, many years ago, our family was in the food gift business.
You mean over 60 years ago?
Right. And we heard about the ad specialty industry and made application to PPA, who ran the only show at that time in Dallas. And we were turned down because nobody ever had, not because it was us, that they weren't used to selling or even thinking about food gifts. So the second year we applied, they allowed us to come in. And my parents said, particularly my mother, what's going to bring people to our booth, since they're at a show to see calendars and ballpoint pens? There weren't wearables in those days. And so my mother is very hospitable, and she said, we should serve food. So my father said to my mother, okay, you figure out something and make it and serve it. So my mother thought about mini kosher hot dogs, and we started serving them. Brought a lot of people because there weren't the different venues of food in a convention center in those days as there are today. So people were hungry. The exhibitors who spent the entire day in their booth were thrilled to be able to walk a few feet and get something to eat. And we fed everybody, distributor, supplier. There weren't a competitor at our first shows, but there were eventually people in the food gift business. They came by and ate also. So that's how we got in the hot dogs. Once and eventually became briefly the largest supplier in the industry. That doesn't mean anything, very tiny industry. But eventually we got out of the supplier world, got in the ASI world, and continued the concept. So today we use lots of hot dogs. Stephanie and Matt can tell you much more about that while I'm enjoying.
So yes, please partake in as many hot dogs there as you can possibly eat. I heard you will eat a lot if given many. So and there's a lot there. So be careful.
They're yummy. They are delicious.
Careful. Oh, Matthew's got a plate too. Now, Stephanie, you have some fun stories about the hot dog situation.
So when we were growing up, my grandmother always was in the booth, and it was something she loved to do because she loved to welcome customers and
there's Bess Cohn right there.
Doing the hot dogs. And I think, and she really, the thing that was unique about her is she really wanted to make sure that people didn't get tired at the show. She wanted to feed them so that they, were able to have stamina, and she welcomed people, didn't matter who they were. One year in the 1970s, there was a show in Philadelphia. It was a summer show. And so someone at ASI thought it'd be a clever idea if instead of hot dogs, we would try to tie into Philadelphia, because we were from Philadelphia at that time. And so they had little mini bagels with cream cheese, Philadelphia cream cheese. And so
not as easy.
Well, not only was it not as easy, but whoever ordered it, what they ordered were small individual packets of cream cheese. And so I was, in my teens helping use your mouth. And so we had to open every individual packet of the cream cheese to put it on the mini bagels, which was not an easy process. So never again we have stuck with the hot dogs. Thank goodness.
Very nice. We have people in the chat. Steve Mitchell saying he misses the smell. Nothing like the fragrance of an ASI show. And anybody who's worked at an ASI booth at an ASI show knows that smell like nobody other. Nicole Areola in the chat says, Nathaniel, how many sauces do you have there? So let's check in with Nate in the kitchen.
Well, I have golden spicy mustard, right?
Okay, that's my favorite. Thank you.
That's delicious.
Yeah, mine too.
I have a stone ground mustard.
Oh, okay.
And then I have the coup de grace, the sriracha aioli.
Oh, that's out of the that's outside the box. That is thinking outside the mini hot dog box. Let's check in with Matthew. Matthew, you have a plate of hot dogs there too.
I do. Although my plate is getting smaller by the minute because they are delicious. Believe me, it's very tempting as I sit here with them. But by the way, my grandmother, you can see this picture here, what was very important to her that everyone was not only hygienic but also felt welcomed, and so she would make sure she put a toothpick in each hot dog before giving them out to people, so that everyone would have a little toothpick. So in her honor today, and we of course continue that in the ASI booth. We have toothpicks in her honor today. Yep. I have my toothpick ready for my hot dogs here, and I'm enjoying them greatly. And in fact, if anyone wants to guess before we say the answer, you can put in the chat how many little mini hot dogs you think that we do per ASI show each year. And so just post how many little mini hot dogs you think we give out every year or every show. So of course we have 3 big shows a year, but every show we give out how many hot dogs. So
yep, we average a lot. So think big, but that's a great idea. Put in the stage chat how many hot dogs do you think we give away at each of our in-person shows? It'll be interesting to see.
Nicole asked the question, but Nicole, you got to give your answer. Got to give your guesses.
There you go.
So we have a prize. The person who guesses closest gets a mini hot dog at the next ASI show. In the ASI booth.
Just one.
Along with everybody today. Look, everybody today will come at the ASI booth and get a mini hot dog.
Very nice. Nate, how many have you eaten?
I started off at 35.
Oh my! Wow. Okay.
He's just getting started.
And Norman is eating away too.
Yeah, I've done about 20. So I said 30 by the end of the podcast here.
Excellent. Okay.
He's a novice. We're not impressed with 30.
I get it.
I also know that ASI President and CEO Tim Andrews was walking the floor, but he wanted to join this fun. So I'm going to go try to find him, and you guys keep talking about the hot dog tradition before I or Tim come back.
Okay, well, we definitely will do that. And so go find Tim. And by the way, Richard, I like your idea that we give out 2 million little mini hot dogs, and that might be true because some of our members and others of the show floor love to just get little cups for the water and fill them overflowing with little mini hot dogs. But no, I will say 2 million is much too high. We don't have 2 million per show. Although I definitely know some people have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner during the ASI show. They come by and get little mini hot dogs.
I would say Tim's one of them. Hi, Tim.
Hey everybody, I'm on my, I think, 12th one. They're pretty good. And it's funny, Nate, I'm having Nathan's hot dogs. So I love the tie-in. Did you make it?
And to be clear, those are my favorite hot dogs.
Of course they are. My question is, who uses mustard and who uses ketchup?
Definitely ketchup.
Ketchup.
Really?
Really?
Oh.
I mean, I will have mustard if it's there, but I prefer ketchup actually. It adds a little bit extra sweetness, and reminds me of my grandmother's sweetness coming all together in one thing. So it's perfect for me. But by the way, I'm not so choosy. I'll be either way.
I remember in the early days when we would have it that they didn't have the right kind of processing, so you couldn't actually have a big bulk amount shipped to us. We didn't have anywhere to store it at the convention center. So I remember at the shows, every day we would actually have to have a courier go to the airport to pick up an overnighted that had come by plane from Chicago to pick up a case of the hot dogs to be able to make for the shows. And so I'm glad now that we can order in bulk and freeze them. But
and we freeze them.
Oh, another thing.
We thaw them out, and we have refrigerators under the area, so we can keep them refrigerated during the day.
Yeah.
Another thing that's changed is most of the big convention centers, including the ones we use, have a purveyor of food a contract, which they spend zillions of dollars to get that contract. So we have to now get permission. And in some cases, instead of using one of our own people in one of Bess Cohn apron concepts, or at least somebody we select, we have to use some of their people. So it's a little bit different, but the hot dogs still taste great.
They do. And by the way, Angela asked a question, who's the supplier of the hot dogs? Normally, or traditionally, it's been Hebrew National Hot Dogs. They're always all beef kosher hot dogs. But we've also varied it a little bit. And so it depends on which hot dogs are available at any given moment in time. But normally, they're Hebrew National kosher little mini hot dogs.
So how many do you eat in each show, Matthew, do you think?
Oh, well, my mom might be listening, so I'm sure I realize up to 3 per show. I do normally 1 each day at most.
Okay.
I would put a couple zeros on the end of that.
How about you, Stephanie? You're usually out in the registration.
I actually never actually get them because I'm always at the registration. So I rarely have them.
Occasionally I bring you some if I make it from the booth to the front door without eating them, which is very rare.
You bring
I pick them up for you all the time. That's why I tell Mom, I'm bringing these for Steph. I'm a nice guy. So, okay, so let's get back to our counts, by the way, Tim, then I'll let you get back to your questions. We have a wide range of answers, but I will say, Angela, you are the closest, it looks like. Angela, but many people think we have a lot more little mini hot dogs at the shows than we do. People have guessed 15 or 20,000, 10,000, and that is true. We do about 20,000, 220,000 little mini hot dogs per year. But Angela, you guessed 7,000 per show, and that is about right. We do 6,000 to 8,000 per show, at least 6,000 a show, depending on how hungry people are. And somebody had a formula in there, which is like, okay, if you have whatever number of thousands of people times 10 per person. Although we'll say many people don't stop by at all, so don't get any, and others will say have more than 10. But the average is, of course, less than 10. It's 6,000 to 8,000 per show. So, Angela, congratulations. Come to the next ASI show in Chicago this July, and I'll make sure we get you an extra good crispy hot dog. By the way, my grandmother always liked them a little extra crispy. So I think I ate my sample earlier. Well, I had one that wasn't so crispy to show you the examples, but my grandmother liked them like this, where they were a little bit more charred on the edges. I had earlier, imagine one without the char. I ate that one a few minutes ago.
I'm not sure who's eaten the most in this group between Tim, Nate, Matthew, and my dad. How many have each of you guys have eaten?
I'm going pretty good.
I think I've eaten the most because I had the most on my plate and it's now half gone. My guess is that I must have eaten close to 30 so far.
Don't let Mom hear you, Dad.
Right. And of course, Mom is expecting to make dinner for me tonight. I'm afraid she's going to be disappointed.
Well, I'm going to go try to find Andy. I think we've lost Andy again. So anyway, have a good time. I'm going to finish my hot dogs.
We know you're really going to the kitchen to get more, Tim.
I need more. I ran out of mustard, so I got to get to the kitchen. Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
So are there any, let's see, you're welcome to post questions, by the way, in the chat. We only have a few minutes left, but you're welcome if you have any questions. Although I have to say, one of the things I like most about this mini hot dogs is that for my grandmother, it was always incredibly important that everyone truly feel welcome, everybody feel nourished, everyone have an opportunity to get a bite to eat during a long show day. And I think it was very symbolic, or is very now symbolic, of just the kind of person that she was. Many of you may know we have a Bess Cohn Humanitarian of the Year Award, and it's named, of course, in her honor. And that's because every day, her entire life, she always looked out for others. She always was trying to figure out what she could do to help make the world a better place. And I think, well, it seems like a weird little example, but these mini hot dogs were part of that. It was definitely just welcoming people and make sure everyone felt like they had a bite to eat and didn't have to worry at the show about where they could get food or how they could get through the whole show. So my grandmother was an amazing woman. I know some of you probably met her, and we were very lucky to have her as a role model for us.
Thank you, Matthew. That was well said.
That really
She
was.
very focused, very passionate, and cared about people and hospitality.
That really
So
was.
tell
very
Mom,
well
Dad,
said.
by the way, when she gets disappointed, every time I eat one of these, it's in honor of Grandma, so I should have all I want.
Well said, Meth.
So I noticed while I was away that, Nate, we have an extra visitor in your kitchen. So your dog Baxter, did he get any hot dogs?
He has not had any hot dogs yet. No.
Oh, so maybe there's one I see in the pan that he could have for lunch. I don't know. But this was a lot of fun. Even as I was away, and I saw Tim eating seemingly incessantly. He really didn't stop eating as he came on the screen. So he must have had a bunch as well. You guys, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we could provide some history and some tradition for ASI shows, so that everybody has an idea as to why we do this and why we have so much fun with them at all of our shows. So thank you all for joining us and sharing some time today.
There's a question here, Andy. I'm sorry, but someone asked.
Yeah.
They missed the beginning. Where are the hot dogs from? Did they hear Chicago? And I think yes. Originally, the hot dogs were from Chicago.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, it's a great tradition, and we all enjoy it, and so I'm glad everybody else could hear a little bit about it and see some today. So make sure everybody checks out the keynote. That's a Q&A between Tim Andrews, who you saw eating hot dogs, and Sandmar's Jeremy Lott. That'll be on the keynote stage at 1:00 today. And in the meantime, enjoy the booths, and everybody get to as many booths as you possibly can as you can get through the expo area. Again, that the hours on those has been extended, so the expo area will be open through 5:30 today, 5:30 Eastern time. So make sure you have plenty of time to get in there, and the whole show will be open until 6:00 Eastern time. So plenty of time for everybody to spend time in the booths and in our education and networking sessions. So thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again very soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.